This is Crowd in the Fantasy League, and we are going to start our the first half. We're going to be doing a recap of the past week, and we're going to start that with the Fantasy NE with Thomas.
Actually, not too much this week, but Fantasy NE, let's go. So, Arizona Cardinals, Zay Jones, wide receiver, was ruled out for the first half of Sunday's game against Seattle, and running back Bam Knight, ankle, did not return, with also wide receiver Simi Fahuku, wrist, was ruled out. So I butchered that name, but oh well.
We should have a segment where you just try to pronounce names.
I mean,
who had the kickoff return for the Jets? You get that name up because we'll have to get him to
try to pronounce it.
Yeah. I mean, Zay Jones, Bam Knight starts off so well, and then they throw it out. But then continue with Buffalo Bills tight end Dalton Kincaid was ruled out the second half of Sunday's loss to Miami. In recent news, Jacksonville Jaguars Travis Hunter is now out for the season for knee surgery. LA Chargers tight end Orunde Gadsden knee did not return against Pittsburgh. LA Rams wide receiver Devontae Adams suffered an oblique injury during Sunday's win against San Francisco, although head coach Sean McVay did say after the game that he could have returned if the score had been closer, but they just absolutely duffed it. So yeah, wasn't going to bring him back. New York Giants quarterback Jackson Dart was ruled out in Sunday's loss to the Bears after suffering concussion. New York Jets wide receiver Garrett Wilson knee was ruled out in Sunday's win over Cleveland. San Francisco 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy, I don't know how I butchered that one, could potentially return to the starting lineup for Week 11's game against the Cardinals. Brock Purdy, he hasn't played since Week 4 since he had that toe injury. And Washington Commanders running back Chris Rodriguez Jr. did not return with a shoulder injury. So, yeah, fantasy roundup. Nothing actually... Nothing major.
No, it's major for you. Bam Knight.
Yeah, Bam Knight.
Guys.
We've been talking about him
We talked about him last week.
Long.
Talked about him the week before.
Bam Knight's dead to me, Adam. He's dead to me.
You didn't give him an all tomato as well?
No. I think kind of that first week might as well have been an all tomato, and he dropped it. He dropped the tomato.
Yeah.
Speaking of people letting their fantasy sides down, Nathan and Garrett Wilson this week. Yeah. Big fat 0 points for you.
But when did he get knocked out in that game? You say was that quite early?
No. I didn't say. It was just ruled out in Sunday's win, but I could find out.
I think it was maybe half.
But it was also a case that was just a really weird game. It was run heavy, but also you had 2 special team scores, so it was a very strange.
He probably shouldn't have been in it, so because he was questionable until I think right before the game. So he was
yeah. But the Jets are trying to run the table, so they're trying to win every game for the rest of the season.
So you're just going to give the ball to Breece Hall about 40 times a game?
Yeah, or just rely on our defense or special teams. We have a quarterback that threw for 54 yards there at the weekend, so we'll have to rely on other facets there.
Just work on special teams. No, the Orunde Gadsden injury is annoying me this week. I've got him in a couple of leagues, and
I think I have him as well.
And he's playing against the Jags, and we are terrible at covering tight ends. So I was looking forward to that matchup, and now I'm not. So that's good.
Looking forward to it in a way, but not in another way, because you wouldn't be able to take your shot.
I wouldn't be cheering it at the time, but hopefully we would end up winning the game. If we didn't end up winning the game, I'd be depressed for a day, but then I would look at my fantasy scores and be like, you know what? I won a couple of fantasy matchups.
Silver linings.
Silver lining.
This is what fantasy football can do.
There's not A&E fantasy news, but there is other injury news. Joe Burrow might be coming back.
I've got that lined up. In our stream train. I've got ones to watch in the stream train because there's quite a few guys that we should be looking right now at picking up and stashing for when they come back.
The Jackson Dart one will be interesting as well. For one thing, I have him in a 14-person league, but that Giants offense, without him, what are they going to do?
I think they're just going to give up on the season. You don't fire a head coach mid-season if you're thinking, oh, we're going to make a sweep and a run.
Apparently you'd had been on concussion protocol 7 times this season, something like that, or you'd been in the concussion tent or assessed for it.
He's been assessed for concussion. I think
there was one. Was it a few weeks ago? I can't remember when it was, but he was taken out, looked at, definitely concussed. And then Dable brought him back in.
Oh, who was that against? That was against the Eagles, I think. Where Dable got in trouble and they got fined a lot for him going into the medical tent. He went into the medical tent and then he shouted at the independent neurologist, which,
you're risking this major asset that you have that potentially
Well, Dable at that stage, he's trying to save his job. He doesn't really care about the future of the franchise. He's just like...
No, they were pointing this out with Dable as well, the way he treated Daniel Jones. He would have ran Daniel Jones a lot, despite the fact that he was getting lower body injuries. He was getting concussions, all of this kind of stuff. He didn't really seem to care, and he's doing the same thing with Dart. Dart realistically shouldn't be running the ball 6, 7, 8 times a game and going for like 60, 70 yards. As good as it is for fantasy football, it's not good for his body going forward. And he doesn't slide. Somebody's got to teach that guy to slide and get down before contact. He tries to run through guys.
He'd been doing better with it the past couple of weeks, but he's still not doing it enough.
Yeah,
that's what QBs
need to do. I forget who it was back in the day. Brought in like a baseball base running expert and just basically said like taught them how to slide feet first, because it is a skill. You kind of think, oh, it's easy sliding feet first. You try to do it at speed.
Kyler Murray is the best slider.
It's good.
He is.
He just bounces up because he's tiny.
Yeah. But he's red. But it's also because he played baseball a lot.
Yeah. Oh yes, he's considering going back into baseball.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. If this season goes like even worse than it has been going, and he ends up being like cut by the Cardinals, whatever, he had a baseball contract lined up before the Cardinals drafted him number 1.
Yeah, he was put on IR this week, and it's sort of like, well, that's because you were benched. We're trying to save face a little bit. It's definitely one of those ones. Yeah. Give ourselves 4 weeks. He's not really hurt.
But no,
that was very very clever by Gannon as the head coach, isn't it? Of the Cardinals. That was a clever move to save face for both the franchise, him as coach, and the quarterback, to give him a chance to find another franchise next year as well.
Jets will take him.
No, we're on a roll. We're grand.
Jets will
Justin Fields 54 yards a week, and we'll still win. Wait for Thursday night football.
Cannot wait. I'm so excited for that. Just to see the results the next day.
Yeah, so jump into winners and losers.
Winners and losers. Actually, I'll tell you what though. See, in the fantasy winners and losers, it was actually really hard to pick a few. So I'm just gonna say RBs. Like if you look at the average score of like the top 10 RBs compared to the average score of every other position, absolutely ridiculous.
Big
but like
running back week.
Taylor in like standard scoring formats had over 40 points. Achan over 30 points, Gibbs over 30 points, and pretty much just won everybody their matchups if you had them. Like I had him in one of the leagues, and I don't know what way we do the scoring, but Taylor nearly got 60 odd points.
Yeah,
you know, it was.
He had like 58 points for you against me. Yeah,
such a wild.
I had Gibbs against you, had 41 points. You had Taylor 58 points. I lose by 8 points altogether.
It's just absolutely
sounds
wild.
fair.
Oh. Absolute heart. That was a heartbreaker.
And then, like, you know what? Another fancy winner I wasn't ever going to say because nobody would have played them. The top QB for this week, top scoring QB, Davis Mills.
Well, depending on scoring format, I've got
regular scoring format. He was top QB for this week.
Debatable.
I can't remember. Maybe it was. I don't know if we do. I don't know if we do specific scoring, but I remember looking at him and he was the top in. I'm gonna have to get this up, but
see, like the XFL is a good one to look at.
XFL was what I looked at.
It's a good one to look at. Maybe I looked at the wrong one.
Because we're gonna have like dead air for 2 seconds while I get this up again, because I definitely think I'm right.
Just want to prove your point.
Yeah.
He was in that
very
format.
good.
28% points came out of nowhere.
I can't actually believe he was right.
Yeah,
no, I did check this out.
But I'm not gonna
Matthew
say
against Thomas.
But
you usually side with Matthew.
I'm not gonna say Davis Mills was.
Oh yes, QB. I had the 6 touchdown or 6 point touchdown format.
Yeah,
it's fair enough.
It's silly, but you're not gonna say Davis Mills because nobody had him, so he's not a fancy winner. So what I did, Trey McBride, another solid week. And then Seahawks defense stepping up, 23 points.
Yeah, 2 of the exact same play. Did you see that? The same person forced the fumble and the same person recovered the fumble and scored the touchdown.
Like 23 points on a defense is like a game-changing score. Really, like, you know, I mean, wide receivers, the top wide receiver was 21 points or 22 points, which isn't an exceptional score.
No, it's really not.
So, like, this is what I mean by the difference between the top 10 running backs and the top 10 wide receivers.
Yeah, it's traditionally been this season that it's been the wide receivers that have been winning fantasy matchups for people.
No, and it's just absolutely Yeah, it's nuts, the difference. But this is why running backs are seeing so much more demand sometimes. Like, there's a plethora of wide receivers.
Yeah.
But running backs, if you get an elite one, they're going to change the game for you and change your lineups. But then the losers. So starting off with a couple of quarterbacks in this one, if you're starting Young and Fields, you had a disappointing day. I mean, okay, Fields had some rushing upside, but 54 passing yards is just embarrassing. I mean, that's ridiculous. 4 quarters of football. 54 passing yards. That is a joke.
Oh, yeah, and an update. So it was Tyrese Knight forced both fumbles, the linebacker, and DeMarcus Lawrence scooped up both fumbles.
Flipping out. Reminds you of the Legion of Boom back in the day.
I had two fumble return touchdowns.
They're coming back. And then Young, only 2.8 fantasy points against the Saints. And we were saying he's a streaming option because he's against the Saints, one of the worst defenses in the league.
That was a shocking result for them.
And losing the game, which is just, they're in the middle of the pack because they've got a good record, but then they lose games like this. It sort of really opens your eyes to them. And then the other 2 losers I've got in here are losers because they just suckered us in with a couple of good, consistent games, and they're looking like they're going to be, people you start to stream and things like that, and then they just let us down. So RJ Harvey, a couple of good back-to-back games. He was a flex option. People held him on the bench, and they're like, oh, yeah, I can start playing him now. Yeah. And then hits us with 2.8 points. Yeah. I mean, that whole game sucked, really.
It was terrible.
I don't know what's going on with the Denver Romans. And then the other one as well, Michael Pittman, who over the past 4 weeks had been over like 15 points. Wide receiver. Yeah. I think, the last 4 weeks he's just been really consistent with it, like starting to be a wide receiver 1 on your team. And then he had 2 catches for 19 yards.
Jeez.
Against the
Falcons in Germany,
apparently they have really good receiver defense. They'll do
But it was so they only focused on wide receiver defense because Jonathan Taylor ran all over them for.
I was going to say they just don't have a good run defense. Obviously,
it was like,
3 touchdowns, 269 total yards for him as well. Like, if you want to hear something about the Broncos Raiders game as well, like we're talking about a trash game that let a lot of people down. RJ Harvey, Bo Nix could be put into that as well. 7.8 points in fantasy. We had him as our starting.
Well, that's the thing.
The Dream League. Anyway, so the Broncos Raiders, some stats. There were 13 3-and-outs in the game, 15 punts, 3 interceptions, 2 missed field goals, 1 block punt, 8 sacks, and more than half of the Raiders' drives didn't go more than 2 yards.
Yeah,
that was the kind of game. If you stayed up to watch that,
my goodness,
what a waste of time!
Crazy.
It's just such.
When you're ever going to see like 15 punts in a game?
It's not even. It's not even good defense. It's good. It's
the Colts punter barely punted all season, and that guy's getting a workout. The leg's falling off by the end of the.
He's going to get the game ball. He's got to get the game ball. That punter.
There were some good punts.
There were some great punts. I think there was one where it was on like the 1 yard line, and I was like, "That's amazing," because it had bounced almost sort of. Parallel to the line, and I was like, "That's a great punt. He needs the game ball for that."
If you want some specifically for the Raiders, I found funny as well. 1 interception, 1 punt blocked, 9 penalties against them, 1 missed field goal, and 1 touchdown that was negated for a penalty as well.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, it
makes me feel good about being a Jags fan.
I think everybody felt pretty good about their teams after watching that.
I certainly did.
Shocking, but there were some big losers there.
What did you have, like 2 years where you didn't feel good about your team?
Yeah, it was rough 2 years. I hated it. And now we're like the top team in the AFC.
You have as many wins this season as you did the previous 2 seasons combined. You were 8-26 the previous 2 seasons. You were 8-2 this season.
We just needed.
And was the season before that? Was that the Mac Jones playoff season?
That was the Mac Jones playoff season.
That was the end of the.
That was the one where they played the Bills and the Bills scored a touchdown in every drive. Yeah. Six touchdown drives. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But the Patriots were 10-7 that season. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the Mac Jones rookie year where he was really good and then struggled for a couple of years.
I think they let McDaniels go after that season. I found a stat about McDaniels. His win percentage as offensive coordinator with the Patriots is 74%.
Yeah.
74. That's not just with Brady. That's with like Cam Newton. That's with Mac Jones, and now that's with Drake May this year.
You saw the offense work really well against the Bucks. He kept finding ways to win that game. So yeah, fair play. Fair enough. We're done with the winners and losers. No more.
No
winners and losers.
No.
And you sound very downbeat.
Just such a
anybody that's hurt us personally. No.
Oh, hurt me personally. Who did that? No. Pittman
hurt you personally.
Wilson hurt you personally.
RJ Harvey, I did have to start RJ Harvey just because the injuries at running back, and he let me down.
Yeah. Oh, like all my questions I have about what should I do with my teams this week are entirely based around running backs. All of them.
Yeah. Well, there is a golfing class between like the top 10 and the rest.
It's really, really tough to find a good running back on any waiver wire, apart from maybe.
I've got some options.
Oh, here we go. That's a segue. There we go.
Give us some good options, please, Matthew.
Well, first off, we'll start with my one to watch at quarterback, and Thomas touched on it earlier. Joe Burrow, he's owned in 66% of leagues. So if he is, or this is 12 team leagues. So if he is available in your league, maybe pick him up and stash him, because it's looking more and more like he's going to be back a couple of weeks earlier than they predicted. So if you can get him for 4 or 5 games at the end of the season, I mean that's worth it. That's worth it.
Running into playoff time.
He's actually hinted at being back for Thanksgiving would be really special. It's something that he said. So everybody thought it would be mid-December. He's kind of aiming for like mid to late November instead of December. So really nasty one. Nobody really wants to do this. But if you want to pick on a really bad defense, Tua is a decent option. Particularly if what you want from Tua next week against the Commanders is for him to just like dump off a ton of screen passes to Achane, get a couple of touchdowns that way, pick up 20-something points, and then just move on with your life. But he's only owned in 21% of leagues. If you're really stuck,
that high, that many leagues, Pete, he's owned.
I tell you what, I might have to do it in my 14-person league because Jackson Dart, don't know if he's going to play this week.
He won't.
And
on
my bench is Aaron Rodgers, QB number 17, but you just can't trust that guy on any given week.
True.
So I might have to look for a streaming option like that.
It's more that the Commanders are really bad. Mariota is a decent option on the other side as well. If he's available in your league, I don't have the stats for him, but he's had a couple of decent starts as well. So again, if you're really desperate, target that matchup because it's 2 bad defenses. And this was mentioned like after we finished recording last week. I think we got a comment through about Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah.
Because the announcement just came out about Kyler Murray going on IR and all that kind of stuff. He's still only owned in 16% of leagues. So nobody paid attention. Nobody picked him up. He's had 4 starts this year. He's been the QB7, QB12, QB10, and QB10 in his 4 starts. And he scored over 20 points in each of those starts. He's a really good option. He's thrown, I think, at least over 200 yards and possibly over 250 yards in each of those starts.
Before the game of the weekend, I don't know what he threw at the weekend, to be honest.
Actually right now.
He was averaging about 265 a game. Yeah. So you're still over probably 250, which is very, very good.
And San Fran hasn't been that good at defense this year. They've been quite beat up. So he's got a home game against San Fran. No matter what way that game goes, you kind of think he's going to throw for over 200 yards and give you a chance.
I think they're number 31 rush offense, so they rely more heavily on their pass offense as well.
Yeah, true. Well, it depends on my other one to watch. My one to watch at running back, which is Trey Benson, who might be coming back this week. It has a potential to return for week 11. He's owned in 64% of the league, so again, I say it's a one to watch. A lot of people have stashed him on their IR spots. If you're in a league where nobody stashed him, pick him up. If he doesn't play this week, he'll come back next week. And DeMarcado and Bam Knight haven't taken over the backfield there, so he will just walk straight back into.
I just love that you just can't say his name with a straight face anymore.
You know what? He's not Bam Knight anymore. He's back to Zonovan. He's Zonovan Knight. That's his real first name. I'm not calling him Bam Knight anymore. Bam implies Bam. He's like a. Out with a whimper. But anyway, Trey Benson, if he's available, pick him up and stash him. As we said, running backs are really hard to come by at this point in the season, so you probably only got 2 or 3 usable running backs on your roster, just pick them up and have them as like your 4th running back. You'll get use out of them. Other running backs, again, it's slim pickings, but Sean Tucker is the leading rusher for the Buccaneers. I know you were looking at me like who is Sean Tucker? He had...
No, I know who he is. I'm just disappointed that he's the leading running back because I have White in 2 leagues.
He had 12 touches and 11 touches the past couple of weeks, and he gets a great matchup against the Bills. The Bills can't tackle at the moment. They can't defend the run.
I think the only game they actually played well against the run was against the Chiefs, and that was because Pacheco was out.
Yeah, the Chiefs don't really have much of a run game, so if they hand Sean Tucker the ball another 12 times in this game, there's a potential that he breaks something. He's only owned in 10% of leagues, so again, if you're really struggling at running back, grab him. So Blake Corum is owned in 17% of leagues. He has had 13 touches in each of the last 3 games. What I'm curious about is how many of those touches are garbage time touches. Like I don't have the stats for it, but those games haven't been close in the slightest. In a game against the Seahawks where it's close, we presume it's going to be close. Is he going to get the same amount of touches, or are they just going to give it to Kyron Williams? What do you think? Would you take a shot on Blake Corum the rest of the season?
Would Corum tend to get the goal line work anyway, wouldn't he? Like whenever we were in London, he was getting more goal line work than Williams.
He did not have any touchdowns last week, and Kyron Williams had 2, I believe. Mm-hmm. So that would imply that Williams is getting some goal line work.
But Corum has done what we've seen other running backs do, like sort of can't forget the name now, but like he's got a chance to do it. Like Henderson, who actually got a proper chance to play.
TreVeyon Henderson, yeah.
And has actually done it really well and is now going to sort of change that Patriots offense to a committee, like a full committee. Corum's going to do the same. You know.
Yeah, well, yeah, they have split touches quite well the past few weeks. So it just depends whether they continue to split touches in close games or whether they go back to more of what Sean McVay typically does, which is just have a bell cow and just hand on the ball 25 times a game. But we'll see. It's one of those things where it's an option if you're really struggling for somebody. You can put him into your flex, you can put him into your second running back spot if you really need to. And there's a chance he's going to get touches is the important thing.
It's never a bad option going for somebody from a high-powered offense as well.
Yes, so if he goes out and even gets 10 touches against the Seahawks, high-powered offense, he might get those touches in the red zone, he might score a touchdown. Who knows?
True.
Wide receiver-wise, my one to watch, wide receiver. Jaden Reed is due to come back from injury. He broke his collarbone at the start of the season. He's been out since week 4, and is due to come back in the next couple of weeks. So pick him up, stash him. He could end up being the top wide receiver for the Packers when he comes back, which would be pretty good. And he's owned in 37% of the league, so nobody's really stashed him yet. If you pick him up and again, if you've got an IR spot, great. If you don't have an IR spot, you're taking up a roster spot, so less good, but you can still stash him if you've got the depth. Jerry Jeudy. You don't really like Jerry Jeudy.
I like Jerry Jeudy for a while. I think he's great at.
I didn't really like his Madden rating, to be fair.
Yeah, no, his Madden rating wasn't great.
Yeah. No, Woody Johnson would agree with you.
Yeah, but absolutely. No, you pick a guy on that.
He's owned in 52% of the leagues. He comes up against the Ravens, which has been a tougher matchup in recent weeks, but was generous to wide receivers. And he was targeted 12 times last week against the Jets. So it's more, is he going to get those targets? Is he going to go on a little bit of a run? Can you trust Dylan Gabriel? No, there's a lot of questions.
They could be chasing that game pretty early as well, so we'll probably throw the ball more.
He had a really good touchdown catch against the Jets, I believe. So yeah, again, there's a chance if you're struggling. This is more like a lesson, more like as the season goes on. If you're struggling, chase touches and chase targets.
Yeah,
because at least you're going to get something. Whereas if you're chasing somebody who's had like one target, and he had one target, but it was a 70-yard touchdown. It's like, yeah, but the following week he's not going to get the ball.
Yeah,
so you want the guy who's going to get the ball. Just like Parker Washington for the Jags, he seems to be the number 1 target at the moment.
Yeah.
Even with Brian Thomas coming back in, I wouldn't be surprised if he's still the number 1 target or thereabouts, because Brian Thomas has been that poor this year. catching the ball, and he's a much more reliable catcher. He's had 10, 9, and 7 targets in the last 3 games. He scored a touchdown, really good touchdown, against a tough Texans defense.
Very tough defense, yeah.
And he's owned in 56% of leagues, so a lot of people are picking him up, but if he's still available, there's worse flex options than him. And I'm going to go with one boom bust option. I know I say chase targets, but chase speed and talent as well. Kyle Williams. I love Kyle Williams for the New England Patriots.
He was rapid. What was that TD he scored? I saw
72-yard receiving touchdown, and he was so fast. He was so fast.
Yeah. He blew the lid off that Broncos secondary. It was insane.
The Bucks secondary.
Bucks, yeah.
So if you're struggling for wide receiver, and maybe you're coming up in a match, say you're sitting on like 4 or 5 wins, and you're coming up against the top team in the league, and you know you need a boom bust play. You don't want to put in somebody who's just a PPR option who's going to maybe get between 5 and 10 points. You need somebody who could get you 20 points. Kyle Williams has a chance. He's against the Jets. The Jets have sold their secondary. Like completely.
And the D-line.
So there's worse options than going for somebody that's going to get targeted.
Stop on the Jets, guys. We're on a roll. Right. 2 wins.
But he
2
did,
wins on the bounce.
He did only have 2 targets this past week. I think he's only had something like 6 targets on the season. So he's not somebody that you're going to go like, oh, he's definitely going to get the ball. But he had more snaps last week. This is the first time he's been over 50% of snap percentage. Well, this past week he had 56% snap percentage, which is a good sign.
Yeah, he's on the field more.
Is Booty still out? Because that's probably why he's got more. And he's been.
It is worth checking their injury status in general.
I think it looks like he's going to be out again this week.
Okay, so yeah. So if Booty's out, then
Booty's out.
Booty's out,
and you're competing. And you're competing with Diggs. We're saying Booty way too much. Then you're competing with Diggs for targets mainly, and Mac Hollins is getting a lot of targets for some weird reason. He doesn't wear shoes, you know that?
Apart from on the field.
Apart from on the it's the only place where he goes barefoot and doesn't even wear socks. Where it goes barefoot everywhere. Mac Hollins.
I think that's meant to be really good for your feet, though.
Apparently so. Yeah. But then he puts cleats on. That's just like, oh, he hits them. Hits them. It's terrible. Right. Anyway, so that's a boom bust one. Tight ends are actually quite good this week, I think.
Okay.
Dalton Schultz. Still nobody's picking up Dalton Schultz. He had 11 targets against the Jags this past week.
Write that down.
He's been tight end 7 and tight end 4 the past 2 weeks. And he's only owning 33% of leagues. And he comes up against the Titans. So it's just like good. What could go wrong?
It seems to be a no-brainer.
But I bet you he gets like 0.1 point next week. Like has 1 catch for 5 yards and a fumble.
Yep. Just having a quick... Damn it, he's gone.
Like Dalton Schultz isn't the most physically talented tight end in the world, but it's similar to Zach Ertz, where he gets enough targets that he might, as I said with Zach Ertz, fall ass over backwards into the end zone, and boom,
he's always been a good route runner as well, even at the Cowboys whenever he was there.
And Davis Mills seems to be airing the ball out a good bit. Obviously, a lot of that was script based this past week, but we'll see. Yep. Theo Johnson. Nobody's picking up Theo Johnson either. Theo Johnson has had 6 and 8 targets the past 2 weeks. He has 5 touchdowns on the season. 5 touchdowns on the season. He's only caught the ball 33 times. That's a big touchdown percentage.
That is a big percentage, yeah.
And he didn't score a touchdown this past week, so I'm thinking he's going to score this week. He's against
1 in every 2.
He's
against the Pack.
Nathan had Theo Johnson in his super team.
He did.
You did, yeah.
No, he's
well done.
He
didn't score a touchdown.
He's doing well at the moment, and they're against the Packers, and he's only owning 31% of leagues. So again,
it's a tough defense to go up against. To be fair, but
not the tight ends. Weirdly, they're like
everything else,
every other position but tight end. So middle of the field, nice and soft and squidgy. Just pass it to Theo Johnson.
But who will be throwing it to Theo Johnson? And will it be Russell Wilson or will it be Jameis Winston?
Oh man, no, that would change that whole game.
Yep,
let's go.
Please, Jameis Winston.
Get Jameis Winston on to throw 5 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Really enjoy the game of football.
In fact, if you have space in your team, just pick up Jameis Winston just in the hope that he plays, because it's just going to go off, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Be great. Mason Taylor is a bit more of an outside shot because he hasn't been good recently, but he was getting a lot of targets earlier on in the season.
Yeah.
And the Patriots are bad against tight ends. They have been bad against tight ends throughout the season. Kate Otten had a good game against them.
And the AFC. What are you on about?
Kate Otten never has
best team in the AFC.
We are the best team in
best
the
team.
AFC. Best team in the AFC.
Right. Discuss it later. All I'm saying is the Jets don't really have receivers. They don't really have that many receivers. Mason Taylor only got one catch this past week, but they only threw the ball 11 times this past week. so if they're in a negative game script,
didn't realize it was that bad.
If they're in a negative game script,
when there is a negative game script,
against the Patriots, when they're almost certainly in a negative game script, they
Stop
will be
looking so smug. I can't wait until next Tuesday whenever we actually beat you on Thursday Night Football. Anyway, Matthew,
and he's only owned in 24% of leagues, so he's almost certainly available if you need a tight end.
I'm going to go and pick him up.
Just
to wipe that smile off your face.
I'll buy you a case of beer if the Jets beat the Patriots.
A case of beer?
Once again, you heard it here, guys, okay?
But they won't.
Is there like a cutoff for like how fancy the beer can be?
He's going to buy non-alcoholic beer. I just know he's going to do it.
I'm going to buy you beer from Boston.
Samuel Adams.
Nice.
Yes.
And the defensive streaming options this week, the Ravens seem to be on the rise, but still loads of people have them for some reason. So like the 49% owned, despite the fact that the 30th best defense in fantasy.
I think a lot of people had them at the start of the season and were just willing them to be good.
But they're against Cleveland. That was our one good game on defense at the start of the year. Cleveland seems to be a nice get right game for every defense. And as I say, they're improving every week on defense. So why not if they're available? The Bears D get a lot of turnovers. We've talked about this before. And 9, as he calls himself, JJ McCarthy, the quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings, throws the ball up for grabs every other play. So I could see that being a good matchup for the Bears. For the Bears D in that one, and the Falcons D coming up against the Carolina Panthers.
I just wouldn't trust the Falcons D or that Panthers. I just this might be a game where the Panthers put up 40,
but they're still weirdly good. Like 6 and 7 sacks the past 2 games. They had 6 sacks and then 7 sacks. They're getting after it, and Bryce Young is holding that ball way too long. Yeah, you're almost guaranteed he's going to have at least a 5 sack game there.
That might be a bold pick.
Whenever it comes to McCarthy for fantasy relevance, I actually have some things on him. He was 4 of 12 to Jefferson at the weekend there. Yes. So if you have Justin Jefferson, like I do, number 1 draft pick in one league, still number 13 wide receiver, which isn't too bad considering. But 4 of 12 to him, so not really syncing up with your number 1 wide receiver. 8 false starts on offense means he's not syncing up with his offensive line.
One of them was on him.
Yeah.
I you never see a quarterback false start, but it was an actual quarterback false start.
He was 20 of 42 on passing. He had more incompletions than he had completions there against the Ravens.
That is wild.
That's weird. Coming off such a good week, although he didn't have to throw the ball a lot against the Lions.
And it really upset their team rhythm. Like he had the most rushing yards for the Vikings as well. He had more than Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason, and Jordan Mason averaged 6.3 yards a carry. Aaron Jones averaged 5.4 yards a carry. Yet they still continued to pass the ball.
It was a really weird week.
But if you're looking at that matchup, picking up the defense,
the Bears
that's who they're playing. They're playing 9.
The Bears defense, and have you heard the way he talks about 9? 9 seems like an alter ego. It seems like JJ McCarthy is Bruce Wayne and 9 is Batman. That's what it feels. That's the way he kind of describes it.
Either of them a good quarterback though. that would be great. I've got 2 personalities. Is one of them not a dickhead?
Well, this is what Dan Hansis was talking about. He was like, if you're going to call yourself 9, if you're going to nickname yourself, you got to back it up.
Yeah.
You got to bring the receipts, but he's not.
He's not.
So yeah, that's just interesting that the Bears are only owning 24% of leagues because people don't trust the Bears defense, but they get a lot of turnovers.
Great offense, terrible defense.
So why not chase turnovers this time of the year? It's gonna give you those wins down the stretch.
Yeah, absolutely.
It for
nice.
The waiver wire.
Thank you very much.
And I've definitely picked up a few of the running backs there because my running back options are terrible.
That's what you were doing while
you were like, well, that's a good you have to wait and see if you get them. They're on the way.
I'm gonna wait till tomorrow. But I had this because I know we've got the start 6 and help me section, and I need help. So a 14-person league. This is my running back bench or my running back room in this 14-person league. Bam Knight, Manangi, Tyrone Tracy, and Alvin Kamara.
And Kamara's on a bye, so you're choosing between
what? Help me. Just fix my running back room. What do I do with this?
Who's available on the waiver?
Well, actually, Benson. Benson. Was it Carter you mentioned as well? No, not Carter. Tucker.
Sean Tucker.
Yeah.
I think the non guy has a bit of upside. Still scored a touchdown at the weekend there.
Do I just rebuild my QB room or my running back room and just get rid of?
Well, Bam Knight, you're
trade Bam Knight for Benson because I'm not going to have two on the same team.
Yeah.
Trade Tyrone Tracy for Tucker.
Yeah, Tyrone Tracy's not doing anything.
We've got Brian Robinson. He had a decent enough game. Well, he got a touchdown.
He's got touchdown upside. The last couple of games he's had a touchdown.
Or Corum, who's now going to be in the 50-50.
I would almost like Sean Tucker is still going to be probably alone. It's like you're picking him up maybe to use him for the next couple of weeks, and then Bucky Irving comes back and it all changes. Or you get Blake Corum and you've got flexible value for the rest of the season potentially.
Might have to go for the valuable for the season because there's nobody coming up that I'm going to have for the full thing. But then second one, so I might pick up Corum.
I was just going to say, what are you in that league record wise? Like, do you need wins urgently? Or
yes, I need. I think I'm out of playoffs. Let me have a look.
Why are we even discussing this?
3-7 because I don't like losing.
Why are you 3-7? Don't give up on the playoffs.
No, that's the thing. But I need to make some changes. All right, 8-person league. So 2 QBs, 8-person league. So the top 16 are out. I've got Bo Nix and Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams seems to be on a bit of a hot streak.
Yeah.
The thing I have, we don't have a big bench. There's like 4 or 5 bench spots that we've got.
I think 5 bench.
5. So there's not a lot of.
And there's no IR or anything.
There's no IRs or anything like that.
Whoever steps
Still a couple of bye weeks. It's a shit show of a league. Do I drop Bo Nix for another QB because he is just wildly inconsistent? He's just sort of boom or bust, and I kind of want to keep this high.
I'll tell you what, if I'll be looking out for you dropping him.
Do I bench him and drop?
I will.
Sorry, not drop Bo Nix. Do I drop someone on my bench, which I've got Bam Knight, and do I start saving up for Joe Burrow?
Saving up for Burrow.
And get Burrow early so he's there for the rest of the season? Like, I'm winning this league. There's no one stopping me on it. Absolutely. Because I don't want to flop. Nathan, fantasy football is great regular season. You can have the best or worst record ever. But see, as soon as it comes to playoffs, it's going to be one person who screws you and takes you out. And there's no
Thomas, you're going to have an easy one because Aubrey is coming back from bye, so you can drop Badgley and pick up Burrow.
See, this is why I go to him for fancy advice. Joe Burrow, you're coming on my. I've got 2 kickers. How am I winning this league?
Because of.
Well, no, you've got a lot of people did that because you've got to hold Aubrey.
Oh, yeah.
Because Aubrey's like the number 1 kicker in the league, so.
Which is another reason why you just don't need kickers.
I think I've got like 4 quarterbacks in that league, so you could, give me one of your receivers or something.
Yeah, offer a trade, guys.
Yeah, offer me a trade. This is our last week for NFL for trades and
pretty much every
league. I look forward to hearing what you're going to offer.
And then the other one, I'm not looking to drop people because it's 12-person league, so there's not a lot on there. But again, it's very similar names you heard before. Who do I play in my sort of flex spot going into this? Do we trust Aaron Jones, Laporta, or is now that there might be more running room for Tyrone Tracy? And when do I ever trust Bill? Like Krosky Merritt, he's just terrible.
He's against the Dolphins this week, but exactly what do you call him? Chris Rodriguez was getting more touches this past week. So it's really, really tough. Really tough to trust Bill.
Do I just go with Aaron Jones then, just sort of play it safe? Like
I
did you say Laporta as well?
Yeah, and Laporta.
I would just always trust high-powered offenses. I kind of bet a lot on the Lions' offense this year, and it is helping me.
I'll go Laporta then.
With Goff, Laporta, Gibbs in the league as well.
Who are the Lions against this week?
They are playing at. I think they have a fair. Oh, they have a tough matchup this week, don't they? They do indeed.
Something. Laporta hasn't been great. He's been a bit inconsistent.
He's still tight end number 7 on the year though.
But that's because he's had that one really big week where he had like 27, 28 points.
The Lions are playing the Eagles. That's tough.
Lions at the Eagles.
Matchup.
That's a very tough matchup.
I would probably rather have Aaron Jones, but that's just me. I like a running back.
But then again,
he's starting to get the ball.
Aaron Jones had less rushing yards last week than McCarthy.
He did, but then the week before he had a ton of receptions. So
are they going to keep? It depends. Are they going to keep giving McCarthy the ball? Like how often is he going through it? If he throws it for 40 times, is there real upside for any running back in that offense?
It's against the Bears, I suppose. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
But I appreciate the advice. I'm gonna completely reset my quarterback room in the 14-person league, as we said. I'm gonna use your tips. I'm gonna start and flex Aaron Jones this week, and then I'm gonna drop my spare kicker. Don't know why we play kickers, and I will get Burrow and stash him for a few weeks.
Your dream's to have a fantasy league that you play in where kickers just aren't involved in it, isn't it?
I
just take them away.
I think
they're so irrelevant.
Change the rules for kickers. As I said, they start off on a set number of points and they only lose if they miss points. Like do it almost like defense rules.
I would much prefer another flex spot than a kicker.
Yeah,
I think it makes it much more interesting.
Yeah.
Even have a kicker.
So something to think about.
You can have a
some of
kicker
our
as your
fantasy
flex.
leagues. I'm a commissioner in a league. You're a commissioner in 2 leagues I play in.
The
You're a
family
commissioner in a league I play in.
The family league loves kickers. It messes up the draft every year because people are picking up kickers in like the 3rd and 4th round.
People are going like, yeah, they go kickers early. People
it's
try
a shocking
and
draft, really, isn't it?
They try and build
wild.
A full team early, and they're like, "Yep, no, this is what I want."
Did we not?
I think Shelley had a backup kicker by like round 8.
I think it was about 5 or 6 years ago. Did Shelley not pick Justin Tucker, in the 1st round as a kicker? Somebody did.
Leanne did.
Leanne picked. No, Leanne picked because you made the whole. She was looking for Gronkowski, and you said Goskowski. So that was the first
crafty fellas.
So that was the first round pick last year. And that was Thomas in the doghouse.
Sometimes she still won that league, which is really annoying. I think she won like back to back 3 times in a row.
So how does that prove picking a kicker in the 1st round?
It's a
great success rate.
Proves that we're really good at fantasy football. That's what it proves. Will we look at the comment to go off the back of that then? I think we did get a comment during the week.
Search up on the chat there.
Comment was
about starting Mitchell in a flex position. Is it risky?
With Wilson out for the Jets, would you take a gamble on Mitchell for the flex position? 12-man PPR format. So is he going to get the targets to be worth it in a PPR format? Because PPR...
My issue isn't that. My issue isn't is he going to get targets? He didn't play this past week because he's still picking up the playbook.
Yeah.
And they're on a short week.
Yeah. Against
the Patriots. So it's more, does he even play this week? And if he does play he play limited snaps? I wouldn't be trusting Adonai Mitchell.
No, neither would I.
I think the Pats defense is too good. Justin Fields is still learning the playbook as well, so that's pointless.
Well, you just said earlier a couple of key stats. They just threw the ball 11 times there at the weekend for 54 yards. So where's your upside with Mitchell?
And the bulk,
even if he gets all of those 54 yards,
and the bulk of those yards, I think, were Breece Hall as well.
Yeah,
I'm just going to actually check the Jets box score against the Browns and see that 42 of their receiving yards were
Breece Hall.
One Breece Hall touchdown reception.
My goodness.
The other receptions were 1 to Mason Taylor, 1 to Isaiah Williams, 1 to John Mechie, 1 to Isaiah Davis, and 1 to Jeremy Ruckert.
Nice.
So there was
and those were combined 12 yards.
54 yards in total offense. 42 of it was a one pass.
Yeah.
That means if you
and we still won.
I
We still won.
honestly...
Imagine if we could throw the ball for 300 yards. Just imagine how good we would be.
6 of 11, 54, 1-1.
That is...
But I like that the question was about a Jets player.
I do think Adonai Mitchell potentially has upside. Maybe later, maybe it's later in the year. Maybe it's a stash in Dynasty or whatever, like a deep Dynasty.
He was a second round pick. He was a second round
Dynasty.
pick last year, so he's obviously got talent.
They
just lost faith in him because of that silly play against the Rams.
And he had a great game against the Rams.
He
That's
did,
the thing.
yeah.
He had 2 or 3 fantastic long plays in that one. That would have been like an 80-yard touchdown.
But you cost your team the win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you deserve to be in the doghouse.
Yeah, but
especially when the owner's on the sidelines, like you do not. You just go sit with the other team.
But it doesn't.
You don't even go back to your sideline. You just don't even.
It doesn't stop him having talent. Like the Jags in that draft class were looking to potentially take him instead of taking. If Brian Thomas hadn't have fallen to them because they didn't expect him to be there, they might have taken Adonai Mitchell. To talk about it. So that's an interesting one as well. Interesting little wrinkle.
But the consensus is he's too risky to put on a flex.
I think so.
No, I think it's a desperation play in a really deep league, but in a 14 team, you're bound to have a better.
There's going to be
options.
So.
like some of the ones I've talked about today.
It's just too risky on offense and too good a defense.
Yeah.
They're going up against. So
we
would say no.
As I say, he might not even play. He was a healthy scratch at the weekend. He might not even play.
Well, there you are. That would answer all the questions then.
So will we tackle the power rankings then before we move on? This is our last wee recap.
Mm-hmm. We will indeed. Will I start with the power rankings, or do you want to explain
power rankings?
Thomas has a cheeky little
chicken
chicken nugget to share with us.
I am going to
reset
the power rankings. I worked hard on this today.
Can I just say I don't 100% agree with this?
But I was like, you know what? I did power rankings on gut feels, and I completely forgot about teams and things like that, and had multiple of the same team in different positions. I was like, I didn't do it right last week. I'm going to reset. I'm going to create power rankings based on stats and data, and be like, this is how I'm going to start it this week. And I have come up with the ultimate power ranking list. Anything else is just wrong.
So, like when you talk about the stats, how in depth did you go? Was it all these different metrics?
Where do you see? So, what do you think is the most important stat for power ranking?
Oh, probably number one would be wins.
Yeah. So that's where I started. I was like, wins. We'll start on wins. We'll rank it all with wins. Obviously, if you got the same record, you're the same as the other team. Doesn't matter if you played against each other. Blah blah blah. Right. And then I was like, what's another way to sort of really separate the weak and the strong, or even the mediocre and the strong and the weak, things like that. I was like, are they going to get to the playoffs? What is the percentage chances that they're going to get to the playoffs? Ranking them based on that. Mm-hmm. Then I looked at, what's the point in getting to the playoffs? How do you know you're a top tier team? Any idiot could get to the playoffs and shit the bed in the first game. But do they get to the Super Bowl? Do they win the Super Bowl? Then ranked based on that. And then I was like, let's go a little bit deeper. Went further.
It's like Inception. We're the dream.
We're
down the rabbit hole now.
What is the most important position on any NFL team? Quarterback. So, got the QBR. Put it all together, average teams.
I don't fancy the Jets on that ranking. But.
And then what wins championships?
Defense wins
championships. So got the defensive, like how many points do they allow in each game?
See, I can't
pulled this all together, collated everything, made all the averages fair, everything all works out, and then sort of have this big long list here.
Nice guys.
Big long list of all the stats and everything there, and then put it all together. I made a power
This is what you did instead of working.
This is what I did. This is what I did when I found some free time today.
That's really in depth.
Really in depth.
That was really impressive getting that together on your lunch break.
Pulled all this together. I had like 5 minutes between meetings. Yeah. So pulled all this together and got a definitive list, and I love this list. But there is some gut feel changes I did make to it. So I do have gut feel on it.
That's good.
That is now how I am starting my power rankings now. I'm only doing gut feels.
I like a lot of that, but I'm a gut feel kind of man.
I'm a gut feel guy.
Yeah. I like a wee bit of gut feel.
This is going to be very.
I love stats. I love data, but I'm gut feel whenever it comes to power rankings.
Right, break it down for us.
Yeah, and we can talk about where we put each team. So we'll start with the top 10. So at number 1, power rankings, bumping up 2 spots this week is now the LA Rams, guys. Number 2 is the Seattle Seahawks, getting so close to number 1, so close. You're nearly on board.
It's just this.
Thomas will be happy about this next one combined. The New England Patriots are combined to number 3. Yeah. Not that I necessarily agree. We can chat about that after.
I have to do it.
The Chiefs are in. They actually rose to number 4.
They rose on a bye week.
They rose basically combined. Yep, they did. I'm crunching it all together.
They were down for me, I think.
The Lions.
Oh, probably because I hit with the new rankings.
Yeah, he hit with the new rankings this week. He didn't keep them at 7. He bumped them up.
They got bumped up because of this new system.
I kept them the same.
Wow.
I kept them the same. You dropped them. You bumped them up, which led them just being ahead of the Detroit Lions this week. Philadelphia Eagles down at number 6. The Colts remain at number 7. A big drop this week for our previous number 1 last week, the Buffalo Bills. The Denver Broncos, even after that atrocious Thursday night game, rose 1 spot in our combined rankings to number 9, and the Bucks round off the number 10 spot. So, guys, any interesting debating points there? My first one would be, why are you still not rating the Seahawks number 1, guys? Come on, 35-0 up against the team that haven't lost by more than 4.
They are dominating games. There is something to be said for it, but if we're talking about gut feel. Yeah, I've got a real strong gut feel about the Rams. I don't know. I really like the Rams.
It's the Sam Darnold factor.
It is, and I will go into that because I've got a matchup discussion.
I do as well, but yes, definitely.
Even though Sam Darnold has the highest QBR this year.
Don't get me wrong. I'm happy you're starting to come on board. You're starting to see what I seen for about 3 weeks ago. You know, you're getting there, but. Yeah, the Seahawks still number 2. I would have put them. They were my number 1. The Rams were number 2, to be fair.
It was hard not to move the Patriots up after what was it? 7 straight wins? Is
that 7 straight wins and
5 on the road.
And they're beating the Bills. They're beating the Bucks. They're really.
I had argued about a soft schedule, and I thought they would come undone that week, but they definitely proved the point there.
And you talk about like the importance of that key position. I mean, Drake May is.
Yeah,
outstanding.
It's brilliant. Yeah, so it's terrible for other American football fans, but
I know.
But it's good if you're a Patriots fan.
Did you hear about? There was a big Patriots fan on Facebook, and he said he apologized to Bills fans, saying like, your window's over to win a Super Bowl now. We're sorry, we're going to win number 7 this year. I actually apologize and all of this. I thought it was you to start with, but
it was. Well, the Bills had 4 years, 3 years, 5 years? How long was it since Tom Brady left?
They won the division 6 straight seasons.
Yeah, 6 straight seasons. They had 6 seasons where they had to get their shit together, and they just never did it. Just couldn't get over the line, but they kept with the same head coach.
And then, the reason, talk about the reason they're down at 8. I didn't drop them that far, but you guys must have plummeted them.
I had the rankings. Bills at 9 on this, based on that new scoring system. I do think 9 was a bit steep.
I think I held them at about 5, 5 or 6.
So this is the thing. In gut feel, I actually sort of moved them around to 9. I didn't want to chuck that now, but I was like, hey.
Thomas and me skewed it. I had them at number 8. I did plummet them. I overreacted. I didn't take a beat this week, Matthew. I didn't take a beat. I took a beat with some other teams. I didn't take a beat with that. But beat 17 points by the Dolphins. Come on, guys.
But the thing with the Bills is
not like that.
They realized they're terrible at defending the run. Josh Allen's got no weapons. Like, what changes did they make during trade windows or anything like that to try and make their team better? They didn't do anything.
I had talked about this a couple of weeks ago before the trade deadline. Like, go out and get a guy like Chris Olave, or go out and make a massive trade for AJ Brown, who doesn't want to be at the Eagles at the minute. Yeah. They just didn't do it. They had the cap room to do it. They would have had to give up a first and a second maybe for AJ Brown, or if Chris Olave's probably a second and a third. You would know better than I would. That would be my guess. but just go out and get, like, if your time is to win now, go out and make that trade. And they didn't do it. And you are right that they are lacking offensive weapons at the minute. They can't rely on Josh Allen and James Cook.
It's more the thing is they don't have an identity on offense.
No, they don't. It changes week on week.
Yeah.
It was James Cook against the Panthers. It was Josh Allen against the Chiefs, and then it was none of them against the bad Dolphins.
Because they don't have a guy
Allen fumbling it in that game as well.
They don't have a guy they can rely on. They don't have things. I do think that I agree with the guy. The window's over.
One thing I would like to talk about is the Eagles being so low. I have them at number 2 in mine. They were number 2 in mine last week.
I'm coming on board slowly with moving them up, but it's taking time.
So it's just it's striking. There's striking resemblance to last season. What happened? Took a couple of early season losses and then just didn't lose, and they're just getting it done now. Jalen Hurts perfect QB rating against the Vikings. I know it wasn't. I know they only won by 6 in that. They had a beat down on the. There was a dominant win over the Giants. Beating the Packers at Lambeau on prime time, which Jordan Love is traditionally pretty good at, and holding them to 7 points is still a terrible game. But you get the W. You come out of there with the win. You're 7-2. You're top of the NFC. Your playoff likelihood is what 94%.
Yeah, I took a big beat on that game.
I did not take a beat. Well, I did. I had them at number 2 anyway, so I held steady with that.
I don't know why I'm struggling with the Lions as well.
Percentage is 97%.
There we are. So
they're the 3rd highest rated team.
Remarkably,
where do they end up in your rankings then with that kind of percentage?
They were number 7 in mine, and I agree with them. You know where like the couple that surprised me. So on my rankings, Chiefs were 5th, and I said I'd move them down to 6th, and I'd bring the Bills, who are 9, up to 5th, and I'd drop the Denver Broncos, who are 6th, down to 9th, because I can't trust that Denver offense. They're just not that great.
Mm-hmm.
The things that are pulling them up are their defense ranking and their wins, and that sort of really skewed their averages because they are one of the top defenses.
Right, we will.
I just one last thing, like the Broncos bumping up the spot for me, I thought was pretty fair. I know terrible Thursday night game, but still 1-7 on the bounce, still getting the W's each week. They still got an incredible defense that's 46 sacks on the season.
I only bumped them up
for a record, like NFL record potentially.
Yeah, I only bumped them up after the Packers lost on Monday Night Football. I had the Packers ahead of them before that loss, and then I just think that the wins and losses are important.
They are
important stats,
as Thomas alluded to. We'll move on to the muddle quickly. The muddle. We love the muddle. The muddle starts with number 11, the Chargers this week. Moving up a couple of spots, the Packers hold at 12. The Ravens bumped up 2 spots from 15 to 13 this week. The Niners dropped from 11 to 14 this week. Number 15, the Bears went up 1 spot. Number 16, the Steelers. Number 17, the Texans, which was quite a bump in our power rankings. They were number 22 last week. The Jags held at 18. The Cowboys went down 2 to 19. The Panthers are at 20. The Vikings at 21. And rounding it off just outside the bottom 10, where nobody wants to be, the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, this is where it gets really, really muddy for me. Part of the reason I bumped the Texans up there just because of the way, and you'll see it even more in the bottom 10, the way that the playoff kind of percentages must have shifted for a lot of those teams. Like if the Jags hold on and win that game against the Texans, it's a whole different outlook.
I had the Texans at 19 last week and 18 this week, so I didn't bump them up too much.
I bumped them up like 5 or 6 spots.
You bumped them up after last week, saying you were very happy with them at 22, but then they put a late beat down on your poor Jags, unfortunately. Thomas had them at 15. I thought that was very high for a 4 and 5 side.
It's obviously what the metrics say.
It's what the metrics are saying.
But there's no gut in that. Where's your gut feeling? Does your gut feeling tell them?
There's a little spice of gut on the end of
it. Does your gut feeling say they're a top 50% side in the NFL this season? Mine doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Well, you need gut feeling.
But
guys.
I need the
comments.
Stats.
Let us know.
The stats.
Do you go by the metrics?
The metrics
or do you go
for
by
this
your
week.
gut?
And stats for next week.
What was it like? The Ravens are climbing and rightly so. I still think they go on like an 8-game winning streak. They're
I do as well. I do as well. I like the Ravens at 13. That's up 2 from last week. Like, we're not overreacting to it. We're seeing that gradual progression. We're seeing that record swap around. We're seeing what's happening in that division, which contributes to it.
Just as a different team with Lamar Jackson.
It is, and the defense is starting to come good as well. Contributes to it as well. So I'm pretty happy.
You see Derrick Henry's stiff arm. He sent somebody
into
center earth.
Yeah,
like middle.
I watched some highlights of Derrick Henry's stiff arms from over the years. What the heck? Those poor souls that try to tackle that, man.
but I also love it. Like, a lot of times, guys will get caught up in somebody's face mask when they do the stiff arm. He just bats them down. He just smashes them.
It's just a beatdown of the guy he's running against. Not too much more to talk about. I'm quite happy to see the Panthers slowly going down, because you were all up on the Panthers. You thought they were a better side. You thought they were. I think feisty was your word.
Feisty, but they belong.
They're a feisty team.
They belong in that muddle. But the thing is that they could quite easily turn around and beat another big team in a few weeks' time, and all like say they could beat the Buccaneers or something like that in a few weeks.
They could very well go out and beat the Falcons this week as well. But that was a big loss. Instead of being 5-5, they could have been 6-4 in their probability of the playoffs. Yeah. They're potentially looking at, if they're 6-4, they're starting to think about winning that division after the Bucs losing. But that was a big
You
loss.
might ask, what the shuck happened in that one?
I don't think there's too much more to comment on there. I like the Chargers up at number 11.
Jump in, hit us with your bottom 10. The
bottom
dregs.
10. It's really disappointing me where my beloved Jets are. I thought there was going to be a mega bump there, but they didn't get the 40 points that I promised Thomas.
Oh, okay.
So he didn't rank them top. He didn't rank them top 10. He actually dropped them.
They barely have 40.
five spots based on the metrics from his gut feeling ranks last week. But we'll get into
the gut feeling ranks were terrible last week, and I'm going to blame myself on those ones. But the metrics, they dropped the Jets to 31.
Shocking. But anyway,
I take QB is a pretty big metric there.
All of them are pretty big metrics on the Jets. Like, it's a garbage team and garbage franchise. Like, they're 26th in wins rank. They're 24 in playoff odds. Oh, sorry. The max you could get is 24 in playoff odds as well, because there's so many teams at the bottom who aren't going to make the playoffs.
We still got
Super Bowl odds.
Slightly less than 1% probably.
Super Bowl odds, they're second worst. QB ranking, they're third worst. Defense ranking, they're fifth worst. Yeah, no, they're a garbage team.
I do actually have the playoff odds written down there as well. That's the less than 1% for the Jets.
So you're telling me
if you're a Dolphins fan, it's 1% as well. By the way, just a wee random one thrown out there.
The Titans still have a chance, I suppose, if they run the table right now.
Yeah, if the Titans won all their games, they might make it. It's a less than 1% chance as well. But yes, we'll get into the bottom 10, guys. So anybody that follows these teams, I do apologize for them. Number 23 is the Cardinals. They were number 23 in our power rankings last week. Number 24, the Bengals. Number 25, the Giants. Number 26 bumped up a couple of spots. The Dolphins this week. The Commanders at 27. The Saints bumping up to 28. The Jets somehow 29. Guys. The Browns are number 30. The Raiders number 31, and once again, unanimous with all three of us, the number 32 team is the Tennessee Titans.
The Tennessee Titans, interestingly, on these stats, were at the bottom in all of them.
Every single stat?
Every single stat. Apart from...
So the metrics agree with us?
Apart from defense ranking, where the bottom two teams were... No, sorry. The bottom team was the Bengals.
That makes sense.
And the Titans are right beside that.
And then behind that was the Cowboys. So,
but apart from that, I'd said it last week. There's not many teams going to move out of that bottom 10. No, there's a lot of bad sides in that bottom 10.
Yeah, the Commanders are kind of cementing themselves in there now as well.
I think there's a couple that are going to move out that bottom. Well, one I'm thinking of that's going to move out is the Bengals.
The Bengals, I could see. I've got them tipped to beat the Steelers this week. But
If
that's,
Joe
So
Burrow,
do I actually.
if Joe Burrow comes back as well, and they have a bit of a run at the end of the season, they could be in that top side.
Yeah, they could take our wild card spot. We're not going to use it.
But there was nobody moved out of the bottom 10 this week. It's still the same bottom 10. There's a couple of movers within the bottom 10, but it's just kind of proven my point from last week that not many teams will move out of that. The Cardinals would still be my only side.
Yeah, I was quite
maybe the Bengals, but I don't see them bumping up too much. I certainly don't think they'll be top 16 by the end of the year. It was the same for the top 10. Our top 10 remained the same, just in a slightly different, well, not a slightly different order. A lot of big movers up there, but
a lot of big movers. Go on the Rams.
The Rams, yeah, the Rams and the Seahawks had the same points tally, but because you guys both had them at number 1.
I think with the Rams, you just can't take them as not number 1 at the moment. They've got Sean McVay, elite head coach, who's done brilliantly.
I had the Rams number 3, which is probably I had them behind the Eagles.
That's brutal. That's rough.
Go for your defending Super Bowl champions, guys. But yes, that Rams offense is rolling. You maybe tell us a wee bit about how they're rolling.
Oh, we'll hit that in episode 2.
Perfect,
my friend.
Electric Boogaloo.
So yes, that will do us, I believe, for the recap. It was a very long recap, but yes, we'll hit the look ahead to next week in the next episode. So thanks very much, guys.
Perfect. Thanks, guys.
Bye.